Welcome back. My name is Joseph Anderson and this is RM University's 90-Day Jumpstart program. Today is day 57 and our topic for today is nothing is impossible. Now, if there's a topic we learn from the scriptures almost very often, it is this: nothing's impossible. For a long time, people said it's impossible to raise someone from the dead. And what the Savior came and he raised Lazarus from the dead. It's impossible to walk on water. And then the Savior walked on water. And then his disciple walked on water as well. I mean, what is it that you think's impossible in your life? I love what Audrey Hepburn says. She says, nothing is impossible because the very word says, I'm possible. I love that. And it is so true. It reminds me of Heber J. Grant saying as well, that essentially whatever we persist in doing becomes easier. Not because the nature of the task has changed, but because our capacity has increased. I'm sure you've seen that in your life. Maybe if you're playing a musical instrument or a sport, you do it over and over and over and over and over, and what used to be incredibly difficult becomes easy. Because you practice, because you believe, and because you have faith in yourself. I think one of the biggest areas in life that people let themselves fail is not believing in themselves, not having confidence. Nothing is impossible. Everything can be broken down to make them possible. I mean, there was a man. I mean, you would probably say, hey, it is impossible to fall from a plane without a parachute and live. Well, a man did a Red Bull stunt, and he fell out of a plane, probably 50,000 feet or something like that, and he lived. Not only did he live, but he didn't experience any broken bones or anything else. He had a giant net waiting at the bottom. But nothing is impossible. And I think we test the limits of this every day. When somebody says, hey, this is impossible, and we say, no, it's not. I mean, there was a time, my dad was telling me just the other day, his first computer ever had like 400 megabytes. I've got more memory on my phone than a computer used to have. And that used to be impossible. And now we've got, computers that have 3 terabytes or more of memory. It's amazing to see what we can do. We can do whatever the mind conceives, it can achieve. A long time ago, when Henry Ford was creating the first car, people probably thought that was impossible. They did. They thought it was incredibly impossible to make a certain type of engine that he was trying to make. And he says, I want it, and I'll have it. And for a long time, there was no progress. And he comes to the guys, and they say, well, this is impossible. And Ford's like, I don't care. I don't care what you think is possible and what is not possible. You will do this. I'm paying you to do this, and you're going to do it now. Wow. So, another cool example. So, a long time ago, there was this belief. It was absolutely impossible to become a billionaire writing a children's book. Well, there was a woman that was going through all kinds of challenging times. And I know some of the stories vary, but she began writing a book on scraps of napkin. Originally, when she had the idea for the story, she didn't write it down. And finally, when it came back, she wrote it down. And then she hammered out at it. Day after day after day after day. She was a single mom. She'd recently been divorced. And she had all kinds of challenges in her life. And she found time to write, and guess what? After a while, she created Harry Potter. And was it accepted the very first time that she gave it to a publisher? Did they look at it and say, oh my goodness, this is amazing? No, they didn't. They didn't at all. She had to go to quite a few different publishers. Now, if you have one of those 5,000 original copies of Harry Potter, it's worth a fortune. And here's a woman that she would not take no. because impossible was not in her vocabulary. And I want to encourage you to remove it from yours. Now, J.K. Rowling is a billionaire, and the work she's done has inspired so many to go on and create works of their own. And the same for you. Whatever you decide today that was impossible before, that you make possible, opens the doors of opportunity. I think of the man that first broke the 4-minute mile. For the longest time, nobody could break the 4-minute mile. And right after he broke the 4-minute mile, within less than 6 months, a lot of people had broken that. Because he changed their belief. He changed their limiting belief that said, hey, you know what? I can't break this 4-minute mile. To say, if that guy can do it, I can do it. Well, if J.K. Rowling can do it, a single mom that's living on food stamps in probably a hard part of England, if she can do it, why can't you? So whatever you think is impossible today can become possible tomorrow. So what's one single thing that you thought was impossible before that you could take one single hack at today? You could take one single swipe at, and then do it. Once again, my name's Joseph Anderson. This is RM University. Have an awesome day.